Hello everyone, so sorry, I was just facing some issue to join.
So Nithya, I'll just finish quickly the introductions and then you can take it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the slides. Okay, we will talk about custom skills. So as a part of the, today's sessions, we are also going to give away some prompts which you can ready to use prompts which you can use for your day-to-day job, whether it is your user research, your PRD generator, or criticizing, for example, your ideas, building your roadmaps. So we are going to share some of those aspects and introduce, do a lot of tips. I do see a lot of familiar faces within the session today, but for the folks who are joining my session for the first time, I am really a veteran with about 26 years of experience in the product and have been constantly reinventing myself. And the latest part is definitely in the last 3 years has been steering my this things more into the AI world, whether it is as an educator or whether it is as a builder. Life has come full circle. I was an engineer for the first 8 years of my career, and now I have gone back to probably what we call as product builder, as product engineer. Currently, I'm working as a fractional CPO with a US-based firm, which is basically into the mortgage industry, helping them strategize their product strategy. And of course, apart from that, many of you know that I do a lot of product workshops, both for enterprises as well as I'm a visiting faculty. And we run our own B2C program, and we are just launching our 10th cohort. We will talk about that a little bit towards the end of the program. So that's a little bit about me, and Nithya and I have been working together for close to 4 years now, doing a lot of things together. So over to you, Nithya.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining. I'm really excited to see so many people.
I don't know, is it only me or others can hear her perfect? Oh, okay, I think it's only me.
Okay. So I'm very excited to see so many of people showing an interest in Claude Core, which reinforces our belief to keep doing these sessions and doing an open flow. So I'll just give a brief intro about me. I'm currently entrepreneurial residence in a Nova residency, which is India's first residence program for female first. So I've get selected in one of the few 1,000 people who have applied, only 16 selected. I have overall 5+ years of experience across product domain specifically, and 3+ years since 2022 in AI domain. I've been building a product across legal tech, cross tech, which is a very regulated environment, even while using AI. Recently, last year, I have been awarded as AI Trailblazers by AI Kiran for the work I have done in AI sector. And also with Malti ma'am, I'm leading the initiative in Women in AI. So every woman folks here, we have our separate group, and feel free to join our community and that group. We want to revive and support women in AI initiatives. So yeah, I think that's it about my side, and I'm very excited for having all of you here today and getting the Claude Code.
Yeah, so can you go ahead and share the screen? I will stop sharing.
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Can you see my screen? Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So let me quickly start in. So this is our community. If you are not in a community and attending our things first, please do join a community. We keep posting the job posting. We keep posting about these kind of events and our courses. So just please feel free to do that. And obviously, if you have any feedback, do let me know. Okay, so now coming to the product management and Claude Code. As you all know, Claude Code is always a CLI based thing. So if you like, it always helps into being a terminal. And me being a product manager, not from a tech background like Malti ma'am is, I always feel dread from a terminal, like as a product manager wants to start. So that's the first resistant every PM have using a Claude Code if they are not from a tech background, like how do I use the terminal and all. So but it is the best leap you will take in doing that. I was also being very dread by a terminal and all, but it is very, very easy to use it, right? So all you need to do is, once you get used to it, now then you will not come out of your terminal itself. Like, if you ask me today, most of the time I spend in my terminal instead of any desktop and all. So everything, whatever you do, let's say as a product management and as a whole, so it's not just a Claude code by a word suggest is like only for the PMs, only for the coding. It will help you in entire work what we do. So because this is a Claude one-on-one session, I will go through the other features of the Claude as well. But our main focus is in the town, which is a talk of the town, Claude code, which will be a very helpful and most used use cases in a case of a PM. So now we know that what all PM do. Like, many people think that PM just do the meetings and all, but PM do the actual works, which takes a lot of market research and things. So if you agree that most of PMs do what? It do a market research, validate the idea quickly, analyze the user feedback. Then you get like hundreds of feedback following through Slack, through your Jira tickets, through the sales team, through your product internal feedback. Within the lakes of feedback, how do you make your own feedback system, right? That's what we will actually, we will systemize that. We will see the prompt, how we systemize those. Then we will see how to write a PRD. So PRD is a basic minimum requirement, and I'm pretty sure that most of you have used the chat PRD and all. How many of you use the chat PRD? Can you just raise a hand? And PRD AI, any AI PRD generator? Yeah, most of you. How do you use a generator PRD? Using a chat GPT right now, currently? Okay. So if you are using a chat GPT or a Claude right now, you will be facing one issue, that next time when you make a PRD, it might not have that context of what you do, what is the feedback people get, right? Created an agent on purpose. Nice. On OpenAI, Bharti, or a Claude? Where did you created the agent? Gemini. Oh, okay. That that Gemini gens. Yeah, so now that is kind of thing you do. Now what we will do is, like, in general, if you see, most of people are doing it on a online, but when you do, it doesn't have a persistent memory. For example, just suppose your PRD generator is just connected with the slides you have, with the the context, whatever is in your context of user feedback, whatever is the context of your meeting, it has those. The kind of PRD it then generates will be very different. So we will see that using a Claude code. Then communication effectively through engineering teams and all. So what happens is, the basic thing of me being as a PM also, I feel like we depends on the Jira tickets. If in every we have a meetings, like in every time we have to take a notes and all. So how my how my things, like how my communication is across refit, that all the stakeholder I do, I can manage, how I can make that agent who can get that email done, right? So you can automate all of these things, then make decision so if you have an incomplete information till now, what you need to do is, you need to go to Perplexity, you need to do a research, you need to go to let's say more into deep thinking and all. So it all times your manual time. Now once you, let's say you are building a financial wellness product for a teens, now you have to do a market research. What you will do, you will go to Perplexity because it has a grounded truth and all, then you will do a research. But if, let's say, you will do that automatically, like this is my problem statement, I have to do a market research, I have to come up with the PRD which solve this, and I have to know that. If you have to do that end-to-end cycle, how will you able to do that? How you will be minimizing yourself in the human in the loop of this is what we will be going to discuss. And to be honest, if you see this, these all are one agent at itself. Seriously, like. So now AI is not going to replace a PM, because PM has the capacity of resilience, PM has a capacity of creativity, PM has this thing. But AI can 10x or 100x make your, I would say 100x, not 10x, like I'm making this bold statement, because it will take all the tasks which you just have to do, which consumes lot of bandwidth and does not give you an that much ROI, which is more of administrative task, out of your brain. And as a PM, you can obviously focus on user empathy, user features, more user interview talking to you, all of that in here, right? So that's why we take it. Now, yeah, so what is a Claude? Like, we always say like I should not included that, but for the people who are new to the ecosystem, I just added a small side on it. So if you see, like, what is a Claude? Why we use Claude? We all know that there are three companies which are competing against each other: OpenAI, Google, Anthropic. So Anthropic is Claude. Now, if you see, most of us, OpenAI is always have a first mover advantage, and most of us use OpenAI in order to make it, right? So, but here, what happened is, if you noticed, OpenAI start giving you verbose. Have you noticed the change in the slightest change in the OpenAI's interest, or which you get, that it gives you a verbose, it gives you too much of the lines which are not seen like it is generated by AI. So if any of you have that content generated through AI or an OpenAI, it seems that it is an AI generated content. Yes or no? Have you faced this issue recently, where you can you able to relate that it is able to generate an AI generated content, and before you go to the meeting with the engineer, it will say that, you know what, you get again the AI generated content. So all of this is getting too much, right? So therefore we shift to the Claude Code. Claude Code is, or a Claude is the one of, like, it happens that entire reasoning part. So Claude Code, so if you see, all these LLM has the persona. LLM is based on large text model, but if you see, all the cloud version have its persona there. So if you see OpenAI, right, it has a persona of assistant. आप जो बोलोगे correct है. If you say that I want this product is make, it will always try to please you. It is like always act as your assistant. Now assistant cannot go wrong your own way, right? So it's a personalized setting in a Claude which has a personalized default persona. Now, if you want to get that, you always have to prompt. Do not act as an assistant, act as a PM. Ask me questions, be very strict on me. Then every time you have to do that. Gemini has a performer to see stick, because it has a persona which is related to a Google, which is like it can be do it directly, right? It has to be direct, it has to be factual and all. Whereas Anthropic gives Claude a persona to reason, right? So it's like, if you see, I will just share my screen and show you the Claude's personas, and it gives it clearly. Like, okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so it used to give that the slides, right? Styles कि यहाँ पर कैसे slide styles है, आपको कौन सा use करना है. And what you have to do is, you can create that skill creator. मतलब, you want to create it as a skill, you can add it as a skill. You want it to behave like a person, you behave like a person. So if you see this, can you see my screen?
Yeah, we all see.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you see this, I make this specific skill for myself, that a specific style for myself, that clarifying question style, that whatever is there, you should ask me a clarifying question. You should not just believe what I say. So similarly, you can put always a critic skill. For example, if you click on new thing, you can have a create a skill, create with a Claude, or write an instruction. So, or you can just see that. You can name it as critic skill. So critic skill, what does it do? It will critique my idea and think from a devil's advocate point of view. So now if you know what kind of skill you want to do it, what kind of thing you have to, what persona, you can manage that persona. Whereas in GPT or in a Gemini, GPT, it has an assistant persona, and in Gemini it is a very straightforward. So Claude thinks of those parts, that nitty gritties and all, and give you a place to do that. And to be honest, for this purpose, I just use the free version because I want to show that this is possible in a free version itself. It is not that it is not just I need to pay pro. Yes, you need to get a pro to get access to Claude Code, Claude Design, etc. But it doesn't mean you have to do that. You can do that in a free version itself. So that's about the skill. If you are a PM, then you can add it like think user empathy skill, where you can have that skill like whenever I build some question, think from my user perspective, my end audience perspective, and ask me a question. Right? Clear? Cool. So, what is a Claude ecosystem? Now, if you see, we are sometimes saying Claude, we are sometimes saying Claude desktop, we are sometimes saying Claude code, we are sometimes saying, projects, artifacts. What are those wordings which are there being so, and MCP? MCP is also, by the way, the ecosystem and the thing which Claude started, right? And skills and submissions. So how are you able to differentiate between things? What do you think and all, right? So what does it mean? Okay, so Claude, I can just draw and show you maybe. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you see, Anthropic is a company, who build the Claude code, who build the Claude. It has the product which is Claude. Now Claude is not a LLM. In this case, LLM is what? Opus, Fable, right? It is Opus, Fable, which is very new. It is Sonnet. So these are LLM which is powering that product. So as a product manager, like as a PMs, if you think in that way, the brain is LLM, but a product. Now, as a Claude, as a product, you have to get your users intact to it. So what all features you can give it to users. So what they do is, first of all, if user can able to use it on web, then they can go to Claude.ai and use and test it on the web. If they want the it to manage on the desktop, then they have a app called Desktop, Claude Desktop. So then they can manage everything on the downloadable version. Why they use it? Because then it able to use your own persona, your own this thing, your own RAM and all. So it will work faster. So I'll just showcase you how does it look on desktop itself. Just a second. Claude code. Yeah. Can you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
So if you see, it is showing me a ERP next server. So if you have any API connected or any server connected, for example, what is MCP? I will come to it in a little time. So consider it as a server. For example, you have any personalized server API, you can connect it with the Claude desktop app, right? So herefore, what happen is it will gives you the access to connect it to your local system. For example, I just local default is value, right? Let's say I just want to connect anything. The Fable is not here. Yeah, so this is a chart. So let's say if I want to upload anything directly from my thing and connect it to any skill or a connector of a local tool access, what I will do is I will directly connect it, add it to my project, and chat with it. So it gives an interface and LLM to chat with my documents to get my server. For example, you have a CRM tool, you make a MCP server of that. MCP server is very common these days. So you make an MCP server or that, and you just connect the server, and it takes. For example, this is my MCP ERP next server. I have added it. So if you see, my access to it is as my desktop. You cannot do that with the a Claude web version. You can do it only this thing. So any access without giving uploading into a desktop, you can connect it here and then build on the top of it. Whether it is a code, either it is this. For example, if you connected it to a Jira MCP, there's a connector.
I
Then
can't
you
see the screen anymore.
sorry,
We can't see the screen anymore.
yeah. Okay, you can't see the screen.
No.
Okay, now can you?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so let's say if you have a Jira connector, right? So you can go here. you can customize the connectors. You can connect Figma. For example, I have connected my Figma. So whatever happens on my Figma, I can just say that, there is a the what do you say? There is a prototype. Can you help me how it is? Can you change it and all? It can connect entire Figma to this. So if you see, if I'll just show you my Figma which I made, just give me a second. So as a product manager, I created this Figma file directly from the prompt which I gave, the entire prototype, and visualize this into a Figma. So let's say if you are not designing it, or you have a UX designer, then in that case, if UX designer save you this, you can just chat with this file and say how it is looking, what changes you need, and it will save your to and fro with your UX designer. So you can give him the changes and then get it approved from him, right? So all of this you can do via connectors and things, right? So if I go back to the ecosystem, I hope you are able to catch up. Any questions, please feel free to put on the chat section.
Good, good. You can see the screen.
Yeah, yeah. So then if you see web desktop, then it comes to a CLI, which is your Claude code. So what is a CLI? Okay, CLI is a terminal. I'll just showcase. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So if you see CLI, it will open like this. Let me open the new this thing. Yeah. So it will look like this.
To say
You
how to download CLI.
did not hear.
No, no, I'm just saying you can just probably give a couple of lines of how to get CLI.
Yeah. So if you have to download a Claude code in a CLI, so you can just search Claude code CLI and Claude code by Anthropic. All you need to do is, if you have this, like get Claude code, copy this. If you are on the what do you say, the Windows, you will get a window curl. If you are on the Mac, you will get the Mac thing. Only thing is you need to copy this. You go to the terminal. If you have a Windows, you have a command shell. If you have a Mac, you have a terminal. Then just paste this here. Once you do that, it will install everything, right? Then after that, it will ask you to start it. Okay. To get started it, what you need to do is you need to get the Claude. This is a command. Whenever you want to start a Claude in this, you can have to get Claude. But just a quick tip for anyone who is using your Claude code, they know that it every time asks you a question. Should I access this? Should I not access this? Etc. Anyways, you are going to say yes, yes, yes. But it always keep you poking that you have to do this, you have to do that. So you can't really get yourself out of the that particular process of what you are making. So what you need to do is you need to add this small line like dangerously skip permission, that it doesn't read my permission. Doesn't mean that it will read entire thing. For sensitive data, it comes to you, but it won't come to you. Can I install this? Can I install that? Because eventually you will always say yes, 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 yes to get the output. So in order to prevent your time and your focus to do that, you will use Claude dangerously skip permission. So once it is done, it will say that, safety check. I'll say, yes, I trust this. Then it is like this. So if you see Claude Fable 5 is currently unavailable, so I have to change it. So let's say I'll change the model. If you do slash, there are a couple of commands. So I'll say default. So it changed my model, right? So now if you see, this is the interface where you work on. Now, for example, I'll just give you a small example, right? If where is my pitch deck? Yeah, I'll just see. Yeah. So, for example, let's say this is my AI PM accelerator brochure, just for an example, right? So I can just drag and drop my file here, and I'll say I have a, let's say, stakeholder meeting tomorrow. Can you make a dashboard of it, or better PPT of it. So by the way, it can give, like, if you work on a PPTs and all, mostly you will be working on notebook LM, your gamma and all. But the major thing there is they will lose the context length and you cannot edit the PPT, right? So let's say I want this PPT. I'll just show you what it is. It is in this format, right? It has a different colors and all, for example, right? Now I want this in to be my let's say I'm presenting. I want it to be in my spark prod colors and logo. So what I'll say is take colors and logo from sparkprod.in and set the theme of PPT in it. So what it will do is, like, if you do it in a Claude, it won't be able to, because it will hit the context length. Because why it hits the context length? Because it is using the interface of a cloud which gets them a computer resources. Now it is doing, what it is doing is, it is doing the computer using our own RAM, so it will save their compute cost. Therefore the context length is also very increased in here. So it has a full, now it is pulling the credit. And one more thing, Claude Code always use the code. It doesn't use the, it cannot hallucinate, because it always go to the code approach method. For example, here it is doing, here it is just loaded, not loaded. He actually is a building a code. If you see HTML, Mozilla, Playwright, it goes and all, and then build it. So if you see, if you are able to see, can you see my screen?
Yes.
It has just made the CSS file, right? So in order to get that, it makes the CSS file, key how to get the API and all, everything specifically for this. And for everything it makes .py. And this is, for example, anything to make it, it made for a .py file, means that it actually writes a code to make it so that it won't hallucinate. I get a question. The last part you mentioned, are you saying that it's not possible Cloud Code desktop and only in CLI? I'm saying that the last part, what I was saying is that if you make the PPTs in a Claude, in OpenAI, or like in ChatGPT, in Gemini, what happens is they will not write a code to make your PPT. What they will do is they will make a PPT by an LLM. But Claude Code approaches a little bit differently. It will write a code so that you can make as much as lengthy document as you can. So if you, let's say, if you have to write 100-pager book or a DPR, detailed project, it can able to make. It will not say, because it has to write a code to do that. It can able to make. But if you go and try to even write a 50-pager prompt on OpenAI or in a ChatGPT, it won't be able to make. So all your user stories, user journeys, you can do it with a Claude Code, but you cannot do in a detail with a Gemini or any Claude hosted things there. Got it? So if you see, yeah.
In the interest of time, do you want to go through primarily the PM use cases?
Yes. So this is one of the PM use case, but yeah, I'll go through primarily a PM use case. Yeah. So now, one more thing. Now, when we cover Claude, Claude is a Claude API. Whenever you are using the LLM inside your product or for any intent, then you use a Claude API. Projects and artifacts. So if you see, can you see my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
So if you see projects, what does a project do? Project makes the things. For example, you are making a financial app. Financial app. So every conversation you have about the financial app will always remain in this. So it has a memory. So what you do is you can add a project memory, you can add your construction, you can upload all your wireframes here and actually talk with it anytime you come back. So it is like a repository of your own, which has all the access to your product data and can get the files, right? For example, you have any user interview. So you can just upload the data here and talk to it, and it will only give an answer based on your own PRD, your own project, your own user interface, like that. Yeah. So what is an MCP? I'll give an MCP in a very shorter format. MCP is a model context protocol. What is a protocol? Protocol means a standard thing. So MCP act as a USB. Okay. So yeah, if you know, each tool is a calling. For example, if you see Figma, right? Figma has 10 Figma, if you see Figma, Figma has a 10 different APIs. For example, get the app, update the wireframe, download the wireframe, right? So each API has a different format, right? For example, this is like getting one API, get API, update API, download API, right? So each of these have a different formats, right? So now each time if you are using an agent, you have to use a download API, you have to use an upload API, you have to use any API. So what does MCP does is it combines all of these APIs into a server, and it acts as a USB. So it is just like how we use a USB. USB, we upload all the data here like this. For example, whatever data and files, whatever music we have, we upload it at one place, and then we just plug it into our laptop. So now it doesn't matter whose laptop is this. It is my laptop, is it Malti man's laptop, it is someone else's laptop, doesn't matter, but that data will get access to that laptop. Similarly, in this standard way, we connect it to normal API, and then this API we connect to any agent. Doesn't matter that agent is made on Cloud Code, doesn't matter that agent is made on OpenAI, doesn't matter, you can that API, right? So that is, therefore it is called model context protocol, that it is giving your model a context how to use it in a very standardized way. So that is called MCP. Now why I'm telling you an MCP is because it's a concept which you might also need to make in your own product while making a product, because now agentic, in an agentic era, these Cloud Code and all, these are the product, these are the agents which are relating with your ad more clearly rather than human, right? So you have to always be sure of that as well. Got it? Yeah. And custom skills and agent. So if you say skills.md, so what is a markdown file? We always use an MD file. So I have a very interesting question for all of you. Why don't we use a JSON file? Why we use a MD file? Is because if you see in a JSON file, there is lot of text like curlies and all. But in the empty file, it will save all that context of syntax and all. So therefore, .md becomes everyone's favorite file forever, right? So all the skills and all. So what is the skills? Skills is like you are giving an instruction to agent or to a Claude that how you have to behave. For example, we just see the skills of critic of this and all. So these skills are there. And what is a sub agent? Now agent is the one who actually do the works. Okay, so I'll explain quickly through a diagram this as well. So if you see agents, there is a one single agent who has to do a work. For example, you make a PRD agent. That agent has to go through what? It has to go through what are the user interviews, what is a market survey, what are the stakeholders, right? So instead of it doing everything, what does it do? It spends three agents who has an access of user data, who has access of market data, who has access of a stakeholder data. Now, these three agents, sub agents can work parallelly and can be controlled by a one single main agent, right? So then what will happen is your work will be getting done at much higher speed, and this doesn't lose the context, because if you give one person three tasks, which is very different in nature, the problem will help be is that one person cannot be able to focus on all. So for the interest of the time, it creates the three agent parallelly, sub agent operated by it and work it. Now agents can also be working in parallel. For example, one agent is doing market research and all, not guided by a single agent. That is called parallel agent, not sub agent. Okay, sub agent always have a master agent. It's similar to what we have a master and slave DB kind of thing, right? So let's move ahead. Just quick check in. Are you able to cop up till now? Just give me a thumbs up if it's you are able to understand. Cool. Now, first is
Uh,
product discovery.
just want to see that previous PPT just for a second.
Okay. The whimsical. This.
No, PPT, previous PPT.
Okay. This one.
Yeah. One second.
Okay.
I was noting down.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
take the screenshot.
yeah, it is done.
Good. Then, yeah. So now practical use cases. Now, if you see, if you have to make a user discovery, you have to get the user insight, like user interviews. So how do you extract themes, generate this and all personas from here? You can do that. For example, let's say I have a persona. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a thing called skills.ah where you can download the any skill. So if you see manager, product manager. So if you see entire product management toolkit and these people are using this, right? So what does it do? It has that if you install it and installing a skill won't be a problem. So it has a predefined template that how product management can do entire product discovery and all. So if you see this, copy this and paste it in your Claude code. Is that empty? This thing? Just too many Claude codes open. Yeah, I got this. So if you see, like it gives the updated PPT we will go into in some time. So if you see this, I can just say add this skill into my skill list. It will actually add that product management entire school kit in it, and then you can talk with it, and then it will be able to make the entire PMF end-to-end product discovery with this, right? So if you have to sell what skill are doing and all, so if it works on prioritization, gather feedback, customer technical debt, everything. If you fill, it will automatically score. It has a script called Python write script, which automatically scores your idea, your reach, your this thing. Then you can analyze a portfolio big wins and wins based on the data you provided, and then it generates the roadmap. Now you don't need to do any of this thing manually. Right now, if you're doing manually, all you need to do is provide it a relevant data. So your brain which is working on the rise all that frameworks that will not need to do, right? Yes, these skills are transferable over the project. As you can see, you can just download it and you can customize these skills as well. For example, this is a baseline, right? So once you go through the skills, let's say you have updated, so always say Claude update my memory, update the skill, and you can have your personalized skills. For example, you are a PM. No, you don't need to have a paid for using a skill, but using a Claude code, you have to take the $20 subscription because it is not available on the free version of it. But if you want to just try, just for the reference, I do not recommend it. But if you want to try, there's a Quen code which is similar to Claude code, or a Claude code which you can use with all these open source LLMs called Quen and all, which is free in nature to use that. It has a good, what do you say, the a subscription, but that's a pretty long task. If you're from tech background, you're able to do it much faster. But otherwise, I would recommend you to spend $20 and get that done. Like, so what you need to do is just need to copy this and you need to go here and say add this to my toolkit. Can we skills? Sorry, I was not able to read that question. Yeah. So if you see this, it will install it in like this way. It will clone the repository, means it will make a folder of it. And to be honest, if you see, this is very important part from a security point of view. Skill.sh gives takes the things like GenAI, agent, trace, socket and all. If it is a green on all, which means that the skill is secure. If it is a pass and all, do not use those skills. Like if it is not safe, right? And it has a 2.9K, means 3K users are already using it. Both you can use. Both one you can use. So meanwhile, it is downloaded, yeah, is in your skills installed. So it installed my skills and all. So now if you want to see how does it look, you can see the skill.md, right? So before that, let's see what deck it makes. Because we have given that decks to it. Can you see my screen now? So if you see, this was the content, right? This was the content and this was the thing, but it has changed into this. So which means that as a product manager, when you have to specify the number, user retention, all these slides, you can make that slides much better here in order, in expect to this, right? In order of that. So entire screen, we will share the like after materials and playbooks where you can access the skills. But that's the main thing. Yeah, for the sake of the time, like we can't do the entire full demo, but we will be doing it. So because we have to cover the other slides as well. Yeah, so writing a PRD.
Nitya, I think it might be a good idea to just execute a skill, maybe on VS Code with CLI integrated. You can just show that how do you execute a skill, because I think that's the question, because now people have installed the skill. So how do they execute it? I think that would be
Okay,
the
so
first step.
yeah. Yeah, so let's say this is a skill. So let's say now we have installed this and say I want to use this skill for my product. Let's say you will just say this. I would recommend CLI more than VS Code because that's easy to for you to manage. You can just type it in and you can have a get win. So now what does it do is it will take that skill, right? If you see CD, it is going to that skill directory and it is taking that skill and taking the reference key, how to use it or not, and then it will open that skill session particularly for us to work on that skill. Okay, Rise interview. So he said, I have context of your products, Belfort Studio, and this thing. So it is just saying, मेरे पास two products का वो है. So let's say I'll say, can you see make the skill assuming I am making financial wellness app for a user. So now it has my product access, right? So therefore it is asking me. Once you are installed in a laptop, everything is there,
Ma'am,
every
I
files
can't
are
see
there.
your screen. I can't see the screen, please.
Anyone cannot see the screen.
No, no, it is visible. Please
Okay.
log off and maybe log in again.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So if you see this thing, can you make the skill assuming and all? Why I'm using assuming? Because I right now I don't want to give that user interviews and all because it will take more time to process it. But we will do that in detailed sessions which we have and hands-on session which we will be there. So I'm just showing you assuming finance app for teenagers. Can you make it end to end? How I can do RISE framework?
Sorry to bother you. I'm just logging out and again log in. Please allow me to enter, please.
Yeah, sure.
Interview
Thank you.
analysis. Here, like, let's say, synthesize user interview. And then PRD. Okay, and make a PRD. PRD. Enter. So, as like already mentioned, so it will ask you a question. So, it's not that it won't ask you a question, it will interact with you. So, that's how it is made. Already updated. Submit. So now once you've done, then it runs a multiple Claude agents to to do this prime wave. So one is doing RISE, one is doing interview analysis, one is doing PRD authorization. So it bench takes some time. Also, you can use the prompt to access the skill as well, that what all skills you have. If you see list skills, you can do like, what all skills you have, what have to do, etc. But I would suggest, if you talk with it, you will be able to know कि वो क्या क्या करेगा instead of selecting that skill. You can do that, but this is also one way of doing it. If you are from a non-tech background, if you are from a tech background, obviously you can list the skills, you can do that.
Do you want to also show maybe something with a PRD generator skill set once this is done?
Yes. So it has a PRD generation also. So it has 3 steps. The skill particularly, rise, this, and PRD. So it will, once it do this, it will create a PRD as well. And then how we have that access, I can show that how you can have the context of your project inside the PRD. So which will be consistent. For example, let's say I make a app, or I make this page specifically. So if you see Sprout PM, here actually all the inputs whichever you have on the project, if you keep here, it always have a insider insight to make a PRD, and every time you make a next feature PRD, it will be just here. So that what happens is the PRD will be consistent and it knows what features have been there before. So it always have give the access to this folder to it in order to have it as a context of a PRD as well. All 3 emphasize, interview, and write a PRD for. So now it emphasizes, it will writing the PRD. Any questions, or are you getting it?
Maybe while this is happening, I can add a couple of more things which I, along with my team, yes, Chandan, this is recorded. So, I mean, one is definitely, the entire toolkit. Like, for example, there are these, also some of the other product managers who are also, sharing out the skills and all that. So we do that. But a couple of things, for example, in one of the product managers in my team, she basically created the entire prototype, using Claude design. We reviewed it, we could comment it, and then you can directly import it into Claude code and build a working prototype, and including the comments which you gave, it includes that as well, right? So the whole concept of building functional prototypes has been simplified. Of course, we have a lot of other tools. I think right now we are all seeing a barrage of AI tools in the market, but that is one thing. And probably since Nitya is going on the PRD generator, I want to kind of share one particular example. Is that what we did is that while we were kind of experimenting, we so there is a very small startup with whom I work, and I literally have only one product builder / product engineer, I can call. So basically what we did was that all the context about the company, we gave it there. All the user requirements which we have been gathering, whether it is through calls, whether it is through surveys, transcripts, everything we kind of dumped into that. We kind of also gave it some, critique function. We also asked it, we also coded, we kind of created a markdown file where it should ask us hard questions, right? And then once we kind of started, gave all this context to that particular folders. Of course, in the future, we also ended up creating embeddings and those things, because the data was kind of becoming larger and the context window was much more distinct. We were building the product much more in advanced stage. So what happened after that was that once we have given that, we asked it to help, brainstorm with us to build the strategy, to build the roadmap, create the first version of the PRD itself. The interesting part I'm going to talk about is the questions which we gave it to it. So it is kind of making us think about it, like, the context that has been giving, it is asking those questions. So please do not delegate your thinking to the LLM or to Claude, whatever LLM you're using, but use that as a very, very strong partner to build something super powerful, which will be used by your users, which is really solving a pertinent problem. Because today, building a product is going to be super easy. But what is getting harder is that everybody is building a product, but what is getting harder is that how are you going to sell it? How are you going to find that right problem for which people are willing to pay money, which is going to solve the problem in the best possible way? So we kind of built our user personas in that. We kind of built our pretty clear on that. We built our personas of our engineering manager, our business leader, our founders in that. And once a PRD was created, we actually asked these personas to review it, right? So what we are doing is that, of course, in some cases where the context was more complex, we were using the reasoning models and all that. But again, you probably want to constantly look at these multi-model scenarios. What is the best one for your scenarios? But I'm just putting in a case out there where just with a, with me and a team of just 2 people, we were able to build a complete product, which we were also able to pilot with our customers just by giving a lot of this context. Over a period of time, it kind of gets better, but use it to also question it, not to kind of just summarize, not to just kind of, help you build the PRDs, but help it to make it better is all I'm trying to push it out. Over to you, Nitya. I know we have like just last few more minutes before we kind of hit, we had planned the session for 11:30 to 12:30. We probably will take one more use case. And after that, we just want to talk about our upcoming course on AI product management. And Nitya and I are also planning to do a Claude code workshop, which will be like a 3-4 hour workshop where everything which we just talked about, more in a demo format, we plan to do hands-on session. So if anybody of you is interested, then I will just share the contacts and the URL. You can share that. Nitya, in the interim, you can probably take the questions or take one more use case.
Yeah. So if you see, I think we'll show the file. So if you see, all the output PRDs and everything is being done. And as Malti ma'am was suggesting that out of it, now it has all the PRDs, all the interviews here. So if you see, RISE framework, this PRD, so it created the entire PRD, like how the executive summary looks like and all. Obviously, I will ask it to get into a doc format, but it has created the entire PRD. It has created the RISE frame result, interview analysis. So if you have to see feature.csv. So it makes all the features like gamified high effort, Excel and all. So if you see all of this feature, we used to do it manually and all. So, but we can also question it. Right now, I asked it to assume it, right? So, but in general sense, it is there, and let's say interview.txt and all. So this, now it has access. I can just prompt it, maybe like I just show you how the prototype works, and like, can you make smallest prototype for this quickly, for this quickly. Right, so it is just making a smallest. Why I say smallest, because of the time constraints, but I'm just showing you what can be possible. So it is doing that. So meanwhile, I can take the. I think meanwhile, once it is doing that, we can let them go through the course content, and then once it is done, I'll just show you how it makes the quick prototype. Yeah, I'll share my screen. Yeah. So, yeah. Can you see? Yeah, I'm just, yeah.
So just quickly, we are kind of starting our next cohort, which is going to be our 10th cohort. And usually our cohort sizes are anywhere between 15 to 24. Largely, it is product managers who are practitioners, founders, aspiring PMs, a lot of people who are looking to transition from this thing. Very interestingly, we had one person who came from a supply chain background, and he was super proud to say that he has been able to start building agents after he attended our course, and they actually did a real life project with a startup. Similarly, in this project also, if you can go, Nitya, to the next slide, we are looking to partner with 1 or 2 startups, and it also opens up opportunities for hiring, networking, these things. And Nitya, can you go back? This is for the Claude Code Accelerator. Yeah, so a little bit about the instructors. Beyond me, it is also Aniket. Aniket is a practicing AI product leader. I and Aniket worked together back in our days in PayPal. And we have conducted close to 9 cohorts so far. Of course, we have been doing a lot more sessions beyond this. If you go to the next slide quickly to the curriculum that we cover as part of this course. This is going to be, as I said, 4-week session. We have classes both on Sundays and Saturdays. Every weekend we do close to 5 hours. Yeah. And also we cover kind of basics of AI, ML, prompt engineering, RAG architecture, agentic AI systems. And yes, we use Claude Code in order to do that. One of the important skills that PM needs to have in today's AI is the observability of AI system evaluation, ROI, costing. And I think, the overall product strategy, the product thinking is kind of evolving, right? You are, when you are thinking about your products, you have to focus a lot more around the governance part of it. You have to think more around the, how are you picking up the right use case? Because the cost is super high. How do you make the likelihood that the customers would be willing to pay for it? How will you think through your UX part of it? So we kind of, and we do actual hands-on exercise using Emergent. And as I said, since our last batch, we have started to partner with startups. So they have actually, built over 2-3 weeks. The participants have actually built actual products. And interestingly, I also see Dhruv is there. Some of our participants from the earlier batch have become mentors to our subsequent batches. So it kind of helps you to be on, both sides of the cohort. If you could just go to the next slides, Nitya. Yeah. So this is pretty much what I already covered. You can go to the next slide. These are the tools that we use as part of the course. And yes, the participants will have to bear the OpenAI API keys and the Claude Pro subscription. We need at least for a month so that you're really able to build a product. If you go on to the next slide, as I already said, we also have our previous batch participants acting as mentors. Yeah, if you go on to the next slide, this is some of the feedbacks which we have got from our participants. Yeah. And right now, since we have more than a month, we already have quite a few subscriptions done, but we are offering right now a discount code. So if anybody of you is interested, please reach out to us at this number or this email ID. And the last thing, Nitya and I are also planning to host a 3 to 4 hour Claude workshop, which will be about probably end of July. Over Saturday and Sunday, we will be finishing. We will be publishing a lot more details about that in the coming days. So, Bhuvna, you can feel free to unmute. So the way it works is, Bhuvna, that since I work as a startup mentor, what I do is that I reach out to my network. For example, the last project that we did it with one of the startups called as ᴛᴏᴜᴜ. And what we had 3 teams from our batch, and ᴛᴏᴜᴜ basically gave problem statements to all 3 of them. Their product managers worked very closely to give them the data, to give them the problem statement, to give the context. What are the success metrics that you look at? Based on that, the teams actually iterated, working together with me and Aniket and the ᴛᴏᴜᴜ team. And as I said, for example, Nitya was one mentors for one of the groups. So it happens over a period of 3 weeks. The good part is that there is actually a problem statement that this particular startup is facing. So they support you to get an output. They also have invested interest because they are looking for an output. And at the 3rd week, you basically go and present it to the founders.
Okay. That's interesting, Multi. So you go as a team, the cohort goes and presents this, or it's the individual person
It's
who's going to.
as a team. Ideally, we have 3 to 4 people in every team.
Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah.
We try to bring in people because, for example, I don't know if Vijay is here today. So in the last batch, one of the groups, we had 4 people and 2 of them came from fintech. One was a very young fellow with hardly 1 year of experience. And for him, of course, the classroom exercise hands-on that we do was very useful for him. But his take was that the best part for him was to learn from practitioners who were part of the group because they were spending a lot of time during the weekdays, in the nights. So he said, for me, the best learning happened in those 3 weeks, learning it from the people who are doing it, right? Because see, the AI is another tool, AI is another technology. The foundations of product management are not changing. You still have to know about your customers. You still have to be able to think about a business model that will sell. You will still have to think about pricing. You still have to think about your user persona. That is what helps with this capstone project.
Okay, got it. So by the end of 4th week, the team will be ready with the project, which can be presented.
Till the 4th week, so we start working on the capstone project only 3rd week and later. Till then, people are still getting the concepts, right? Because see, right now the AI fluency information is very asymmetrical. There are people who are already quite advanced. There are people who are still kind of, coming up. So we give a lot of pre-reads. So the first 3 weeks is just focused on getting people ready. We start working on the capstone project after the 3rd week. So by 4th week, your theory, your classworks are all done. The last 2 weeks are purely building your capstone project. So it takes overall 6 weeks.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Mitna has a question. Do I need to spend most of the time to this cohort? Mitna, see, if you are paying so much of money, if you really want to build something, if you want to build your portfolio, it is important for you to invest that time. So if you do not have the time, I will not recommend you to do it. But yes, again, there are people who decided that they don't want to do capstone project because of their office work. That is an individual choice that you can take. But the weekends will be intense. If you're not doing the capstone project, then you can wrap up in 4 weeks, but your weekends will get at least 5 hours to 6 hours we will need. All right, any other questions I can take? All right, I hope you found this session useful. And as I said, if you are interested for a Claude Code workshop, where you will do all these things hands-on, there are still a lot more that we would like you to do. How do you reference to your folders? How do you reference to these things that we would like to showcase? So do text us or WhatsApp. This is a WhatsApp number only, so please reach out to us WhatsApp, or otherwise you can always reach out to this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and just for a quick, this is what it gets in a prototype. If you like quickly says like adding a saving goals, what you want to get, create this, so add this. So it makes a quick prototype. So you can easily ideate your idea, whatever you make the PRD out of it. So yeah, I think thank you everyone for joining. That's it for today's session, and looking forward to have more sessions with all of you.
Yep, same here. Thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of the weekend. Hope you found this session useful. Thank you, Nitya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.